Hey everyone, welcome to Taquiando. I'm your host Bill Esparza, and this week we are heading to Studio City, where Alto, a fire to table restaurant, is lighting Ventura Boulevard ablaze with the flavors of Argentina and Uruguay and open fire cooking that region is known for. This restaurant centers on two chefs whose stories begin in South America and stretch across some of Europe's most demanding Michelin starred kitchens. Uh, Chef Juana Castellanos, was born in Uruguay, and she was at Mugaritz, Sellar de Can Roca, Amelia, Borago, amazing restaurants in Latin America and Europe. Borago is Chile, and one of the top, always one of the top restaurants in the world on any list. Um, so she's the creative force at that restaurant, and driving hospitality and the heartbeat of that dining room. The other chef is Esteban Clency, who's an Argentino who trained also at these same restaurants with her, and on the hearth, bringing those flavors that are so important, the glowing embers of the fires at Alto, where you have the Argentino Uruguayo asado traditions with fine dining. This is the first restaurant I've seen in Los Angeles that's been able to do this. That's been able to bring what you can find in Buenos Aires and Montevideo, this high level of dining with the South American traditions. And together they're doing something that's incredible. And from day one, they're drawing a crowd. So join me as we dive into the fire, into the flames here in Studio City at the restaurant Alto with Chef Juana and Chef Esteban. Welcome, Chef Juana and Chef Esteban, to the podcast.
Thank you so much for
Wonderful to
having
have
us.
you. Taquiando is everything. It's Argentina, Uruguay also. Um, so it's really amazing to me. I've never seen this happen before, but like South American, really, and other type of Latin American concept come into Los Angeles so swift and so definitively successful from the get go. It's very rare. This town is funny about Latin American food. It has its ideas about Mexican food, and for we don't know Uruguay food here. We don't have it. We're not Miami, and and we don't have really comida argentina outside of just little,
Yeah.
simple parrillas that are more Americanized, right? So what do you think? Yeah. So how have you translated this parrilla experience in such a high form for this LA audience?
That's a great question.
Yeah,
Start.
I can start. Yeah, it was a big challenge, and also was a huge mission that we love to take to accomplish this of translating it to this LA audience, which is more eclectic and more up to date, and also with our focus was to also elevate our culture and how we do elevate it. And I think to elevate this concept we are doing, LA was a great place to do it. And I think people really feel it. And you can be a little bit eclectic. And we both are, we have this kind of vision of not doing these classic parrilladas you see around LA with this classic Argentine decoration or stuff like that. So giving to the project these little of eclectic touches was something that was really fun for us, and I think it was a really good fit for the LA audience to take this movement of the Rio de la Plata cuisine and enjoy it. Uh, I don't
I
know.
feel like historically we've been working in Europe for years,
Yeah, that's another thing.
and the South American kind of cuisine, specifically talking about Argentina and Uruguay, has always been known by meat and empanadas.
Right.
Like super basic. And everywhere you
Maybe
go,
pizza.
maybe, because now there's Instagram and everyone is, like fugaceta, oh, famous
Right.
fugaceta,
Cheese
and the
balls.
cheese. But honestly, I've been feeling this kind of devotion for our own culture to really create a new like house, because for me Alto is a house. It's not just a restaurant. It's a real like, it's almost like a museum, I would say. It's a cultural movement. And for me, it was not only like the food or the hospitality in terms of the front of the house. For us was a lot of, okay, how we can create a space that feels collective to all of kind of artisans that come from the Rio de la Plata. But not only art-wise, but also like fitting it with LA tone, because that's another layer.
Which is the real trick, right?
Exactly. And we were not experts in LA, because we were not living here for 12 years before opening the restaurant. We were living in a small town in Spain, and we got this opportunity, and we were like, okay, let's just check it out. But we were not LA experts. We had a lot of support and advice, and we had a beautiful team like supporting us in that translation. But honestly, our goal was to set a new like level of what the world knew about our culture.
Right. And of course, before you, we've had, again, I think went over this, we had the typical Argentino restaurants that have the same menu.
Yeah.
And they're very different from the bodegones and the restaurantes that you're going to find over there in Buenos Aires and Montevideo, which I've been to both and love the culture there. But yes, the what I always found is that when I explored and went around these cities, I've been to Buenos Aires more, but there's so much more food to offer, and there's levels of that food, and even the parrilla has so many different forms that are very different and unique, and so like there was this restaurant called Otis and Penelope. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it.
No.
There's these chefs called the Hatfields, and they opened what they called a South American grill, like Uruguaysha style parrilla, with the little fire pit with the cooking on the side, right? Which we see is very popular in a lot of restaurants these days. And that had limited success, and it didn't capture anything of South America. And so everybody's been avoiding this. And of course, there's this thing that, you're in LA and there's this thing that anytime someone comes into Los Angeles, they have to consider vegans, pescatarians, and so automatically you're already shifting. Like in Argentina, the parrilla doesn't have mariscos.
Yeah.
But it does in Uruguay.
Kind of, totally, yeah.
Like, well, I just remember in the market, I went to that, what's the name of that central market there in Montevideo?
In front of the El Mercado del Puerto, maybe in front of the like, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Mercado
got
del
all
Puerto.
these parrillas
Yeah,
inside.
there's pretty much like fish there.
And they have seafood, right?
Yeah.
So that is, would you say that's typical, or that's just...
Yeah, we do eat seafood, but same as Argentina. Like, I feel like we don't have a lot of seafood as a typical thing you eat at home. Although we have sea and we have fishermen and we should eat more fish. Culturally talking, it's not a fish culture.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if you give an oyster to a Uruguayan or Argentinian, unless they have traveled, they'll be like, what is this? Like, I'm not gonna eat this raw, you know what I mean? But of course, at the same time, like the contemporary society of Buenos Aires and Uruguay, there's a lot of great restaurants. There's a lot of people that have traveled that love eating out, that love trying new things. And it's not just people that eat meat, you know what I mean? Absolutely. So the scene is totally, has shifted in the past 10, 15 years. I feel like right now, if you go to Buenos Aires, you can go to amazing restaurants, like street food wise, more fine dining, more like bodegones modernos. There's a huge scene, but we have not been very famous about it. I feel like the world has always looked to Mexico, Peru, like, I don't know. I feel like Uruguay and Argentina were like more European in terms of the food and in terms of the people, the culture was a little hidden. Yeah. And now it's getting a little more like, oh, hey, we do have a culture, our own culture. Although we have immigration, although we have a lot of Spanish customs in terms of food or Italian customs in terms of food, I feel like there's a lot of things we kind of cooked over the time, and you can eat something in Argentina that came from Italy but looks totally different. And in Italy, they don't eat it anymore. You
Right.
know what I mean? So that it's kind of ours now. So I feel that was our main como starting point with Alto.
Right. Yeah, and I can see, I could see because I've spent time over there, and it's hard to do something if you're not, we talk on this program about cultural appropriation a lot, and of course it's something I look for when I'm looking at restaurants. I'm like, who's opening this? And I'm like, okay, and you understand why there's something weird about the concept because the people don't know. Now, sometimes that can create something interesting, but in this case, I can feel this deep connection to your culture that you see in restaurants that are contemporary. What's this one? There's an upscale parrilla in Buenos Aires. What's it called? Oh my gosh.
There is a few
There's a few.
like upscale parrillas. Nowadays, Don Julio is a more popular, but I don't consider like upscales in terms of the food, but yes in the rest of the things like
Yeah.
service-wise, front of the house, but also in the way they search the products they serve, the meat they serve, this regenerative beef and all these kind that are more focused on sustainability, which is something that we were never thinking about that things before.
Yeah.
And that is a way also to upscale our culture.
Right. La carnicería. La
Yeah.
carnicería
Yeah.
does a really cool presentation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it does, and when you see it that way, you can kind of see these other ingredients and vegetables and all kinds of things that are in the culture. But yeah, I did experience doing 3 in one day, which was weird and hard. But we went to Los Talas.
Yeah, that's a really classical.
Right.
Yeah.
Beautiful place, right?
Great.
You approve?
Yeah. But that's what we like, or at least is what I like,
Yeah.
When you go to Buenos Aires, this clásica, this is a real parrillada, you know?
So I went to Los Talas, and then we did go to Don Julio after.
Okay.
And I definitely liked Los Talas a lot more. And they were doing the same thing, but it's weird how different it looks, how the flavors are muted, and
Yeah, I understand.
and even
I
the
got
way
your point.
the chimichurri is made, it's like it's more there was also all these little things that, like, okay, when they put it on my plate, it doesn't have that flow of the traditional parrilla. And then we went to La Carniceria later that night, so we saw like all these levels of that, right? But for people now, I have a certain understanding, and my very very basic understanding of the difference between the parrilla argentina and parrilla uruguaya is that the it's more simple in Argentina, it's like just meat, and you have chimichurri, and you have salsa criolla, and then if you cross the river there, you add salsa de perejil, and there's some seafood and some different cuts, of course, that are emphasized. But that's my very rudimentary understanding. What is the big difference between your two cultures in terms of parrilla?
That's a good question. And it's a little bit deep, but I think there is a lot of things in common, and I don't think we are like two different cultures. I think we are part of the same culture. We were the same country before Spanish colonization, and they divide us. But I think we keep united, and this thing of cooking with fire is something that unites us a lot. On the other hand, in Argentina, there is different ways to grill, and these parrilladas are not the same in Buenos Aires than in the rest of the country. There is way big difference. And I have the feeling that in Buenos Aires and Montevideo, they are more similar in between them than a parrillada you can find in, I don't know, in Salta or Jujuy, in the northern province of Argentina. You're gonna find more similarities, in between Montevideo and Buenos Aires and Salta, for example,
Okay.
So I think there is a lot of things in common. Sometimes in Uruguay and Argentina we manage the fire a little bit different. In Uruguay they don't use that much charcoal. They use a lot of way more like wood fire grillings, you know. In Buenos Aires you can find a lot of parrilladas that are using more charcoal. That's a distincting point of Buenos Aires parrilladas, and the Argentina asado also we use a lot of more of the charcoal. And in Uruguay it's something that I love when I go to Uruguay. Everyone in the house, in the front of the house, they have a pile of wood, you know, for making the asados. I love it. My father, for example, I'm from more of the interior of the country. He loves to use wood, but in Buenos Aires, everyone's used charcoal.
Right.
So there are a little bit of differences, but I think we are the same. And I love the thing of sharing a culture in between countries and culture and you know customs like crossing borders and cutting these borders in between countries. I think is something really good, and that's also what we took like as a main concept in Alto. Uruguayans also maybe a little bit of this more of the veggies also.
Right.
More than seafood, more veggies I would say.
Right.
If you go to the Mercado del Puerto, every grill has some veggies, some papas al plomo, and also the pamplonas. Maybe this is something typical from Uruguay.
Right. There's more side dishes.
Yeah, but I think in terms of grilling and cooking and this thing of having this ritual of the asado, it's the same for both countries and both cultures. Which again, we are the same.
Right.
The gauchos are from Uruguay and Argentina, both. So I feel like we actually created this Rio de la Plata culture because we felt we needed to talk about this union and not about two countries.
Right.
Like, of course, we say Uruguay and Argentina sometimes because we explain to people the countries where we come from and why do we create this concept. But our goal was always to speak about Rio de la Plata as this region that like surrounds the Rio de la Plata, you know, because the Rio de la Plata is exactly between Buenos Aires and and Montevideo, and there's some few like small cities on top, but basically Montevideo, Buenos Aires, and then a little bit of Rosario, which he comes from. We have the same kind of culture, and that's totally different from northern Argentina or from southern, like Ushuaia or Salta. They don't eat or have the same culture, and even like the indigenous people, they were like different from that area, Rio de la Plata, and northern Salta or south, like Ushuaia. So we do share history, and we do share the indigenous people and the fire customs and the visions and all of that. Yeah.
People don't understand the regions in both Uruguay and like the different styles of parrilla you're talking about. That is a deep cut. I mean, yes, there is unity, as you said, and in the culture and the idea of an asado or parrilla, but there's also these subtle regional things that I saw between, you know, we did this crazy trip. We went to Buenos Aires, Montevideo, and then to Porto Alegre in Brazil. The other gauchos that don't share the Rio de la Plata. But I went to a place in Philadelphia called Jezebel's, and that restaurant, the chef is from Jujuy, and she has lots of spices, you know, a little bit of chili peppers. Not hot, but there's a different flavor profile, right?
It's a little bit of a heat. It's not so hot like Mexican or more Central American peppers, but that's really typical on the northern Andes in Argentina. Salta, Jujuy, they harvest all these peppers to make the very famous ají molido and pimentón de cachi, which is a kind of smoked paprika that they sun dried, and it's a little bit of a smokiness, but it's not because of the smoke. The peppers is just because of the way the sun dry the peppers and give this like a smoky touch. That's really typical from northern cuisine, from northern Argentine cuisine, and you don't find it in Buenos Aires, for example, that much. Now, yes, because as Juana says, the cuisine in Buenos Aires is evolving a lot. In Montevideo is evolving a lot, and also not only the food is in, the customers, the people is more interested in get more involved in the food, in the culture, and all the meanings we have through the food, you know. So that's happening a lot right now.
Plus all these interactions of
Absolutely.
Latin America through the Latin America 50 Best, and is bringing all the chefs together, and they're learning from each other. They're sharing ingredients, sharing traditions. Now you have something from the north on your menu. You have a sauce, right?
Yeah. Well, our empanada is inspired in the north.
Right.
Yeah.
Because yes, our empanada is really inspired in the northern province of Argentina. Because we were discussing all the menu, all the things, and as we said, we are a more contemporary restaurant. We are doing a more contemporary interpretation of our food.
Right.
But with the empanada, we think empanadas are a thing for us, and this is not for messing around. And empanadas don't need anything fancy, or they don't have to be upscaled through Michelin techniques or through like expensive ingredients or nothing. They have to be upscaled through like making the most traditional version of empanada you can. And we took the inspiration from northern empanada. That's why we cook the empanadas in a charcoal oven. They use clay ovens right there in northern province of Argentina. We don't have the clay oven, but we don't have this charcoal oven, which we get the same like result. We do the dough here in house with the recipe of our one friend of us, which is from Tucumán, which amazes empanadas in Tucumán. So he shared his technique with us. And actually, he and Juana used to sell empanadas when we were living in San Sebastian in Spain.
We were selling for our neighbors.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh! Out of your house?
Yes.
Uruguayan
Because we used to live together, so it was great. Yeah.
Did you walk around with a basket?
Yeah, kind of. Not so deep.
was
It was like
by
delivery,
order.
by
Yeah,
order.
by order.
It was a little bit more high end, but it's still like a neighborhood sell. Yeah.
That's amazing.
But yeah, he shared with us his recipe of the dough, and we use kind of the same technique for making the filling of the empanada that they used to do in Tucumán. And everything is all the meat is hand cut, and we keep it really moist inside, and we cook in this dough in like really high heat, low time. So this is slightly burned. What we love to call like the imperfect perfection of an empanada. Slightly burns on the top. It gives the perfect touch, and this jahua sauce on the side, which is more of a kind of a northern thing.
Right.
Now it's more common in Buenos Aires, and everyone is using it in Buenos Aires. But if you go to the northern province of Argentina, they're gonna have it
Right.
since forever. So yes, empanada is a real example of expanding our radar, not only from Buenos Aires and Montevideo, and going through all these little details of our culture in different provinces, and expanding our menu to this, and open our menu to these things that are amazing, in my opinion, and are a big, strong part of our culture. No matter, Salta is like 4,000 kilometers from Rio de la Plata,
Right.
It's still being part of
it's a
our
big
culture.
country.
It's still being a part of our culture. And we really want to showcase this really good traditional version of empanada.
It is beautiful, and the I had it, and with the yakwa sauce and the the blisters are so important, and in Los Angeles, people don't have a great reference for empanadas in general, as you know, and they come in with these attitudes. I want to say that the American diner in general, and the LA diner is somewhat sophisticated, and they have experienced a lot of cuisine. We might have the best variety anywhere.
Absolutely.
Definitely among, yeah.
Multicultural, and you can find everything everywhere.
So you can scratch a lot of surfaces here.
Yeah.
And you can certainly have comida argentina, but the empanadas are such a thing over there. There's so much competition, and there's an audience, and that audience and that competition, you have greatness. And of course, it's all in Buenos Aires. It's in the pizzerias. I went to this art empanada shop in that mercado in Montevideo, and it's amazing, the fillings, the variety of fillings you can have. Las chicas de la tres.
Yeah, that's in el Mercado Central de Buenos Aires. Yeah.
With their quarter pounder.
Yeah.
McDonald's quarter pounder empanada. I mean, that was brilliant. But you can have that experience here. And so again, and I do want to get into your menu and how to eat here. But yeah, this is a thing that Americans, Angelinos, our empanada is the hot bucket?
I mean, I would say we sell a lot of empanadas, and people really love the empanadas, although they don't have a good reference of what a real empanada is. But regarding to the first question you did, and now this question, I want to like link everything together because I feel like the empanada is a great example of how we choose to elevate our product. Because every time when you do fine dining, there's two ways. Either you do the original version, but the best product, the most time invested, the best hands. Like for me nowadays, doing a house-made dough and house-made rolling for a restaurant that has 80 packs, it's a lot of work, a lot of time. And that's luxury because we can buy the dough already cut, already shipped, you know what I mean? And it will taste, and maybe you don't even notice the difference. You know what I mean? But we do it because we truly believe in that kind of luxury and house-making everything and cutting the meat with our knives and not like having the short way. And I feel like the LA or the American way of doing things, which makes a lot of sense and we love for many ways, but for other ways we choose a different like direction, is not just not going faster. You know what I mean? Going faster is not always the best way. And for our culture, that we take the time to eat, we take the time to finish a meal, the sobremesa, all of that is something that we also wanted to transmit with our food menu and with our hospitality. And I feel like all of our dishes kind of have that same concept in the which we choose the fine dining direction. Because fine dining could have been as well, oh, let's do a translucent dough with a smoky pepper sauce and then like smoke, you know what I mean? Like we could have, exactly. Or let's do an empanada that actually looks like a bowl, but it tastes like empanada, and then we blend it and then we freeze it. And, you know, we've been in those worlds. And El Bulli, for me, marked a new direction, and now we're getting back. Like, I feel like right now it's not about doing an olive that tastes like anchovies but looks like a bird. It's more about, okay, what do we want to tell? Which story is behind this dish? Okay, this dish means culture. This dish means time. So let's focus on having a great dish, like plate. Let's focus on having like a great dough. Let's focus on having the best meat and taking 4 hours to braise it. So that's our kind of luxury. The story we tell, the time, the decisions we take, that no one sees that because we're here rolling 4 hours and not, you know, the guests will, of course, they will enjoy the result, but they don't know what's behind that. So the communication is a key for us to make what we're doing special and for our guests to understand how special is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And you're doing that so well.
They feel it.
No, I felt it when I was here, you know.
It's 10 times worth it to have this empanada than this translucent dough with jaguafon we were talking about.
I don't even want to go to that place.
That wouldn't be the same. That wouldn't have the same shocking effect that has this empanada we are serving. And they are like, this is the best empanada I ever had. Maybe because they are not that trained on the empanada world. And honestly, empanadas are all around South America.
Right.
Chile has their own empanadas. Colombia, Brazil has this paus de queijo and these things that are beautiful.
Brazil has empadas.
They are all empanadas, and they are all different. And yes, South American is huge. South American cuisine is huge. We are talking from Venezuela, which is almost Central America, all the way to Argentina and Uruguay. There's 12 countries with 12 different cultures, and yeah, everyone has their versions of that empanada. But this empanada of Rio de la Plata is a thing, and is really important for us.
Don't mess with the empanada.
Don't mess with the empanada. Don't mess with the empanada. That's a good phrase for me. I'm gonna tattoo this phrase in my back.
Yeah, and well, that's great. I mean, obviously, that's a dish. It's a familiar dish. Now they're getting this high level of it here. Yeah. But you know, I was looking at some early reviews, and again, you guys are doing well. Your customers are happy. They're having. I saw it when I was here. Everybody was enjoying the experience. But there was a review I saw, and we're not going to mention that publication because I recently had to write for them, so I can't diss them like I used to.
Anonymous.
On you see,
You,
and
you tell about that us of the records.
no, we're going on the record. But this one reviewer who I know has never been to South America and definitely doesn't understand your food in the same way that you do, and or that I do, um, said that one of your like basically was reviewing your meats like a steakhouse. Like this one was a little dry for me, and I'm thinking we don't eat that way, dude. We don't eat that way, and you certainly don't eat that way. So for your other customers who are still having, I'm sure you're still having this issue of people asking for. Everyone goes to medium rare in the United States because they've learned that through movies. You know, it's in what's Goodfellas. Oh, an aristocrat. You know, medium rare. And but what I learned that day with those parrillas, those three parrillas, is that los talas they did medium tres cuartos. Is that what you guys say?
Medium well, I would say.
Medium well.
For the you mean for the asado,
The asado.
for the tira asado, sure.
But there's so much fat on it, and the way they cook, the way they manipulate the fire, that it was tender, and it had great. But I love the flavor of it more than just dripping blood on every menu. It's monotonous. And when I went to Don Julio, which I love the experience, I'm like, I don't. This flavor is so familiar to me, and it's boring. What I had over there was interesting. The levels of flavors of meat changes as you cook it. You're getting so I feel like Argentinos, Uruguayos are going for a flavor, and not because they like meat well done, but there's a flavor that you're very familiar with. And so when people encounter different cooking times, I assume there are different cooking times for these meats. So you have your main proteins are your the pork. Well, I'll let you talk about them, but and how are you cooking them, and how should people eat those, and how should people enjoy those, so they're not just thinking steakhouse and they cut the meat and then they eat the sides later because there's a connection, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we leave that kind of things for the revive. Because ribeye is so familiar for everyone, and it's a meat that you can eat meat rare, and that's the default point of consumption we send for the ribeye, meat rare and it's more tender and blah blah blah. But these all different kind of meat we serve that are more typical for us. For example, she loves meat rare foods. And when we used to eat together, like in a parrillada for an asado, she ordered the asado, the short rib cut, meat rare, and I'm like, no, what? I love meat rare. Don't get me wrong, I love to eat, but that meat should be cooked a little bit more. For many,
At
many,
least medium.
At least medium. For many, many reasons. So for us, the default point of caution of the short rib is medium. When people ask for the short rib meat rare, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
this guy is gonna complain because he don't know what he's ordering. Otherwise, you don't order a short rib meat rare. It's a chewy meat. It's a part of the body of the animal which is not, as tender as a ribeye. So you need to cook it a little bit more. You can keep it juicy. You can keep it a little bit pink on the side with the medium, but you need to render all the fat and you need to cook a little bit longer to get this tenderness you were talking about. So that's really important for people to understand what they are eating, so they know what they should be asking for in terms of how I like it, how I don't like it. So for us, when we get a ticket of an asado, they don't explain anything about how they want it. It's medium plus, because I think it's the best way to enjoy the asado. We think that's how you get the best of that meat.
It's the best flavor in it, and it works with the dressings, the salsa criolla, the chimichurri.
And you need this kind of a bite, a little bit more firm, and not this meat rare, like, which is more fluffy. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah.
But I don't think pairs well with the short rib to cook it meat rare. So yeah, we got a little bit further with that one.
See, as a Mexican, I understand this thing because carne asada is the same.
Yeah,
we
for example.
we want it. Yes, there are some modern places that are doing medium rare, but I like medium well, and I want because I'm going to dress it. It's going to get doused in several salsas. It's going to get vegetables, and the moisture is going to be there, but I want the flavor of that meat to be correct. And like a medium rare taco with all those dressings just doesn't have the same.
Yeah, no, this doesn't have the
flavor.
spirit.
Doesn't have the spirit. It
No, totally. Sorry. That what we don't cook with fire. You know what I mean? We cook with charcoal. And
Yes.
that's a difference. A lot of people here eat like with the like they cook with a flame.
With the embers, with the coals.
okay.
That's what she means.
We've talked about this on the podcast. We've talked about this. Okay, so when I go into a taqueria or whatever parrilla and I see high flames, I'm out.
Yes.
I'm out the door. I already know you don't know how to cook.
Fast way.
So please, okay, but I want you to talk about how to eat your meats and what sides you should have, what pairings, how you should dress it, how you should dress the bite. But then let's do that first, and I want to come back to this thing about the importance of cooking with charcoal, not flames.
Yeah, with
flying.
coals and
Oh
embers.
my God, it's so embarrassing.
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
see that.
And no, I mean, just adding on what Esteban was saying, like all those like small steps that people don't know,
Yeah.
which part of the animal are they eating, how we do cook the meat. They'll just think they'll know better, and that's fine. That happens with every guest in every place, in every restaurant. It's service-wise, you know, like people want to have the things their way, and that's fine. But we worked a lot so that we can have the trust of the guests, so that they trust us to provide them the best experience possible of what we know, what we do. You know what I mean? So I feel part of that, what Esteban was saying, is the asado, how we do it. We train the team so that the team knows what to say, knows what to answer, knows how to guide them, because it's the same. How do people know and enjoy the experience if everything we do here is new to them? You know, how they can feel that this is special and this is like high quality enough to be, you know, worth the experience.
Sure.
So it's funny because that happens with the asado. But for example, on the other side, we serve a pork on a medium, rare medium, let's say, because of course it's not a medium rare, it's not raw in the middle.
Sometimes it's like, no, this is so funky.
And
Cook
we
it a little bit more, you know?
Exactly. We have a good friend of our house, Max Shapiro, that he loves the pork on a very like medium rare. And for him, sometimes it's a little too cooked. We're like very open to every like observation of people that have been eating a lot. And we love to discuss in the better way possible. You know, like, okay, this is our intention and this is how you like it, and find a way in between that. But with the chicken and the pork, we serve it in a very tender juice point that people sometimes are a little scared about it. And for me, as a person that loves chicken, I hate dry chicken. And we serve, I would say, the most juicy chicken of LA. But a lot of people think it's raw, but it's not.
Come on.
But you know what's funny? Again,
It is.
Now people's gonna come for it.
It is. You know when you eat fish
You're
and,
putting pressure on
and
me.
las lascas se desarman solas, when you get that with chicken, it's because you got it. Because chicken is so fast to be like, of course, we all love like a chicken al espiedo from the, you know, like the rotisserie chicken. That's beautiful. But if you eat the breast of that, it's like eating paper. It's dry. And it's great if you have a sandwich, but if you want to have the best chicken with the alioli and grilled, it's really something that is not simple. It's not easy to find that sweet spot.
Absolutely. In Argentina, it's like when you want to test a parrillero to make an asado, give him a chicken. Like don't eat him like a piece of short rib. Give him a chicken and see what happens. You know.
yeah, cook chicken first. But
Yes.
You know, in Argentina and Uruguay, when they do the chicken on the grill, the whole chicken, it takes even longer than making a short rib asado. Sometimes chicken takes 2 hours, but my God, when you have that chicken, it's amazing. You
No,
know?
I agree. We
I
are
love
always
it.
looking for a juicy chicken. We are always, and it's hard to find.
Also, yeah, I think part of our role as restaurant owners, chefs, and also curating a culture, but not only us, many other cultures here in LA, many other restaurants of different cultures here in LA that are doing something special. You know, is part of our role is to teach, is be educating people how to do the things and how to eat, and you know that's a big important part. And we get she was talking about the pork. We get a lot of people that is like really surprised. Sometimes people send it back. Can I get it more? Yeah, but I would say most of the people, they are like, oh wow, I don't even knew that pork could be eat like mid rare, medium, and is that good, you know?
Yeah.
I love it. I don't want to eat pork chops that dry anymore. We have this misconception of no, pork should be cooked 100% because it's bad for your health or whatever. It's not. It's great to eat it medium and mid rare, you know.
Yeah.
If you do the things right and you treat the meats well, and people get a lot of people get really well surprised about, oh wow, this is great, and I discovered something that I didn't knew, you know, and they give us a chance to. I love that from also from the guests we are having and the public of Los Angeles, that people give you the chance to try things, and they are open also to
Yeah. It's also a wonderful thing.
experiment.
Yeah. It's also just a wonderful thing to trust a culture. Now I'm a pretty traveled person and I'm experienced at diner, but I'm always open to say how does the chef do it, and I want to ask what, and I'll sometimes have to like insist on getting the answer because sometimes they're used to just, okay, we want to just do it this way, but no, really want to know what should I have with this, how should I eat it. um, I'm even, with when I was here, your meats, you suggested pairings of vegetables, and in Gaucho country, you eat meat with vegetables, right? You eat them with dressings, just like in Mexico. The great, I think, grilled traditions of Latin America are Argentina, Uruguay are the best. Then you have Brazil, and then you have Mexico, but only in Monterrey, Nuevo León, and Sonora, and Chihuahua, that northern region, those three states. Um, so you have these great traditions, and they all have this in common: this way that you dress meat and the way you eat it. And it's very foreign for Americans, and they want to just have a piece of meat and eat it, like they overcooked pork and all these things. And the chicken, they'll go to a yakitori place and have raw chicken or undercooked chicken, but they won't trust it from you. What the hell, right?
I know. I mean, it's part of the education that Esteban was saying, you know. And
Yeah.
for me, LA is a portal to the world because you have all kinds of cultures, all kinds of restaurants, and we thought we could fit good if we were able to communicate our goal and our intention and our cuisine on a proper way, which I feel that was the biggest challenge more than just doing what we thought it's good. You know, like how we can get this goodness to be understandable for the people in LA, in Studio City, in this moment of LA. You know, it's not 10 years ago or in 10 years, it's right now. You know, after a huge pandemic, like up and down, after a lot of new restaurants opening here in the Valley is not a hospitality niche neighborhood. Like 4 years ago, Studio City was a few coffees and that's it. Now it's growing a lot, but a lot of people get to say like, oh, you should have opened in West Hollywood, or you should have opened here and there. Why do you open in Studio City? And we were like, you know, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, it is amazing, and it was a surprise. But there are other restaurant operators that are looking to this area for obvious reasons. It's a great market, and I live in Hollywood. It's not that far away. To, it's 10 minutes, and but I want to go back to, again. So come here, ask your servers, ask Chef Esteban, Chef Juana, how to eat your food, and trust them, because it's like you're gonna have this wonderful experience, and you're gonna eat it the way it's supposed to be enjoyed. And then after you've done that 10 times, maybe you'll begin to appreciate that, right? So explain to me, because I understand it. Wherever I go in Latin America that has a great um, parrilla culture, Mexico, northern Mexico, Brazil, Uruguay, Argentina, everyone cooks with coals. They do not cook with fire.
Yeah.
And there's this misconception. And I have a taqueria that it's very successful in LA. And every time I've gone there twice, I walk in and the flames are above the meat, and they are taking it off there because the inside is not getting cooked, the outside is getting scorched, and they're throwing it on a plancha and finishing it. And by the time the meat just like, so, contract, ugh. It's like why are you guys doing that? Why? And I've criticized them in the open, and they're still doing it. And I see it every time I go around town on these open grills that everybody talks about. So why is it important to cook with coals rather than the fire?
I mean, the first things we gotta put on top of the table is cooking with coals doesn't mean cook with low heat.
Right.
That's the first thing we need to put clear. You can cook with high heat using coals and don't having these flames underneath the grill, you know?
Right.
That's important because they think, oh, you are cooking with coals, okay, your meat's gonna be done in 2 hours. No. High heat and resting is something that you can use, and the resting is a big part of the coction also.
Right.
So you can roast high heat, roast high heat, rest, and you get really nice shards and really good results because really low heat my meat's gonna look like it was boiled, not grilled. You know what I mean? That's the first misconception we need to put clear. Like we cook with coals, but we don't cook like really low heat. We use low heat for some things that we need to prep, or for example, when we do the Pampa Omakase, where we have short rib plates in front of the on this crust in front of the fire pit for I don't know 10 hours. That's when we go really low heat.
Right.
But on our grill, we try to keep it high heat. But I think also in terms of flavor, you get a really clean flavor. You are not burning anything on the meat. These flames burnt everything, not only just the proteins and the sugars the meat has, because you create some maillard, which is nice, but mostly the fat. You're burning the fat. And when you burn the fat, you oxidize the fat, and this kind of combustion flavors you get in the meat, I don't think they are pleasant, you know. And this cleanness or flavor, cooking a little bit more longer in time, using just the coals and this slowly smoke process, the fat dripping on the coals and smoking the meat itself, this is gold for me.
Yeah. And it's
You know
also
what I mean?
fire control. You're not just
yeah, of
the
course.
you're not just leaving the coals as they are.
No.
You're gonna fan them.
All the time you are putting new coals underneath, you are moving, you are playing around.
Exactly.
It's a process. I was talking about just, you put coals there and you have all the
It's a
service.
whole skill.
No, yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Because
whole-
for me, it's already in my mind and we do it like something natural, you know?
Sure.
But yeah, it's you gotta be handling that thing all the time.
You have to mine. You have to mine the coals. You have to and how many times are you resting your ribeye?
Yeah, I mean, we rest this almost the same amount of time we cooked. If we cook 20, 30 minutes or 20 minutes, we're going to rest it for 20, 24, 25 minutes also.
Right, with little breaks.
With little breaks, sometimes with a really long break, and then we reheat it. It depends on the service. Every table is different. Two top is not gonna eating the ribeye at the same time as a six top that has like a bunch of things on the ticket, you know. So it's always different. That's what's making it funny, you know.
This is Banisha calculus.
I heard one time I heard Pablo Rivero, from the owner of Don Julio, talking about something that I think is really important, and that's the key. That's the differentiation point, you know, which is what's the connection in between what's make a parrillero like a parrillero and not like just a grill master, you know?
Right.
And what's the key right there of what is the differentiation? And he says something really interesting, which is parrilleros in Argentina and Uruguay are in connection with the fire. And this relation that parrilleros has with fire makes them parrilleros, even though if they are not chefs, if they don't work in the industry. My father's does asados and does this cross and everything, and he's a parrillero.
Right.
He never put a food inside of a kitchen. He never works in a restaurant, but he's a parrillero anyway, because he has this kind of this relation, and this connection with fire that we have this thing from a very young age, and we don't know how we create this We just use it and we are connected with the fire and we handle it, we manage it, you know. But that's something really important for us for making this process of cooking with embers and with coals, do it the right way, you know, and not just staying around of a grill trying to get the things out without knowing what you are doing, you know. That's why maybe sometimes cooking with flame is a little bit more easy and you don't need connection. You just throw the things there, you move it, and that's it, you know.
Yeah, it's like cooking with a pan, but straight with the fire. And the charcoal has his cycles. That's something that people don't know always. Like when you just put the charcoal, you have to wait until it's fully on. And then you go, you know, and when it's turning down, you have to like, that's what Esteban said. Like, you have to be connected and be on top of what's coming up. You know, it's not always like, oh, I have it, I set it there, and I'll forget. No, fire, you have to be there, like in connection all the time. It gets down, you have to be up. It gets up, you have to be down. You know, like it's a back and forth all the time. So finding someone that can handle that every day, every night with more than, you know, 4 different cuts and different handling and, you know, like the hates, where should I put it, where to rest, here, there.
Yeah, cooking asado is very complex. It's not a simple thing, right? So I got my tour of Buenos Aires and Montevideo. Mine was very short on that trip. Okay, I've been to Buenos Aires 3 times, but we really hit a lot of places. So I want you guys to give me a better tour than I had. So let's start with your best parrilla in Buenos Aires and in Montevideo.
Okay, I'm not from Buenos Aires, so that's a difficult. No, but I get it. I travel a lot. I travel a lot to Buenos Aires and go eating there. I'm not local, so maybe I'm not up to date because it was like 2-3 years without coming back to Buenos Aires to eat.
You're from Rosario?
I'm from Rosario. Yes.
Okay.
Actually, I'm from a small town next to Rosario, so it's even more complicated.
Oh, even more? Okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with Buenos Aires because I love it and I really like things that are happening in Buenos Aires. Or of course, the easy answer would be Don Julio. Say Don Julio, which I really like. I love my experience there.
My experience there too.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's a lot of things, and a lot of places that are more cultural and more like next to the people. And I love this thing of walking around. I don't know neighborhoods, and there is Parrillita Peña in Recoleta, which is a small room like this, and it's really typical. This is the best asado you have? No, but this best experience of the cultural ritual of the asado, I love it. There is another one, Mercado de San Telmo, for example, in the neighborhood of San Telmo. Inside the Mercado de San Telmo, there is a lot of different parrilla spots, which are amazing because there are this thing of an old antique market with some butcher jobs where they are making the chorizos and they put the chorizos in the tribe in front of you. Mercado de San Telmo is a really good place. And how is the name of this grill? But anyway, one really good parrilla in Buenos Aires right now in Villa Crespo, I love Madre Rojas. Madre Rojas, because they are more on this. I'm a young guy. I'm 34 years old, and I feel myself like the new school. So many people and many chefs try to be like, oh, I'm an old school guy, you know. I'm new school guy. And I like this thing of modernization of our culture and make this thing of elevate our culture, you know. And this is a family that was the first Wagyu breeders in Argentina, and they has this really traditional way of doing the parrillada, but with these modern touches on service-wise, presentation, of how they do the execution of the dishes, the wine menu. So Madre Rojas is one of those amazing place in Villa Crespo, and one in Núñez, Belgrano, is Corte. Corte Comedor. I really love it.
He said them all, so I don't have two more.
No, but you have to say from Montevideo. You're from Montevideo.
Ah, okay.
Corte, they have a butcher shop also, so it's really nice because they have a butcher, so they do nice things there.
Very nice.
But you gotta go with
chorizos,
all the different kind of chorizos. Those are nice places to go.
I love your list because it's not like this idea of, oh, this is the best one you can go to, but the ones that you like, that you feel that are culturally, this is such a better experience for people to have than seeking out the ones that are on lists, but places that mean something to the neighborhood.
Yeah,
It's such a
I
better-
need to know this name. I'm sorry.
Okay, no. Let's give you a moment to find that. There used to be one outside the San Telmo market, like
Yeah, that one is the one I'm.
but he moved.
He moved?
They redid the market, like they fancied it up.
Makes sense.
La Brigada.
La Brigada.
Okay.
Parrilla La Brigada.
And he
They-
just
they
has
even
one of those.
serve ubres.
And he just had one of those slanted grills, right? He has one of those slanted grills, like, and he does panes, like choripan, vacío pan, morcipan.
No, La Brigada is not that. This is a really traditional classic parrillada,
Okay.
but it's really typical because they have a menu thick like this, with, for example, chinchulines, which are one kind of the
Yes.
intestine. Well, they
I
have
love it.
lamb chinchulines, beef chinchulines, veal, cow chinchulines. Then they have different type of mollejas. They serve beef tongue. They serve like ubres, she say. I don't know how to say the ubres. Others. They serve all these crazy things, which is really fun because it's also really traditional. This kind of eating the despojos, the offals, you know.
Yeah.
For us, it's really something really typical because back in the days when British take all the meat from Argentina, like in 1980s, the beginning of 1900s, they were taking these prime cuts
Right, and leave them behind all the offals.
and leave the offals and the short rib plate, and that's where the asado became in this such a delightful for us, you know. And we don't care about the lean meat. We want the fatty short rib asado and the offals. That's what we love.
What do British know about cooking steak?
So La Brigada, for example, has this thing of these particular things that are kind of rare but are really typical. So yes.
Yeah.
La Brigada, Madre Rojas, Mercado de San Telmo, puesto número 53, Corte Comedor.
Oh, that's a great.
You
list.
have a few. They're way different one from each other, but
Okay, I'm sold. And for Montevideo,
Okay, so Montevideo, of course, it's smaller. It doesn't have so many options as Buenos Aires, I have to say that. There are a few great spots you can go to. I feel, of course, El Mercado del Puerto is a typical one. It's great. El Palenque, anywhere that it works, it's super good. I feel like it's a little more on the, it's not so like deep neighborhood, como street food style. Pero La Otra, it's a great grill and they have very good quality meat. I remember when Esteban came to Uruguay, he went alone and he sat at the bar and he ordered meat and beer and he was like, okay, I love this parrillada. So
yeah, because of this thing of the interaction you have with the parrilleros, you go, you sit at they have a counter next, like in front of the grill. You sit there and they were like, what do you want to eat? And they start to put meat on your table, on your, like, you want chorizos?
Omakase.
Yes. Literally.
Right.
Literally.
That's why we call our Pampa Omakase Omakase, because that's the concept. You just sit here and we drop you food and just trust, you know, and you'll have our kind of omakase. It's not raw fish.
Right.
It's meats.
with some
All
wine
exact.
from the refrigerator with seltzer.
Exactly. And they'll put ice on your wine. You know, and do you want sparkling wine on top of your ice?
That's what I want. That's what I want.
Mm.
And
Yes.
Where else in
I would say there's La Parrillita del Alemán, which is also very deep neighborhood, like plastic chairs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's like deep. Close by to the Zoológico, there's another one. I cannot think of the name, but it's a very good one as well. It's like La Sociedad del Zoológico. It's like even only for members, but they're open to everyone. That's a great one as well. They have like, especially the vibe. Like it feels like neighborhood. Like more than that, you cannot get. And there's another one that's pretty new. I mean, more on the hospitality part. It's still a parrillada. That it's called 1720. It's the number of their door. And it's great as well. Like the location, the meat, the fries. Like, yeah, it's amazing. I think that's the classy parrilladas. And then, of course, you have places that are not doing parrillada, but they're doing great things, you know, like more on a modern kind of perspective. But I think that, and even if you want to have more like chivito, there's a lot of great bars, you know, like, yeah. Bararocena, Bartincal, there's a new place called La Giraldita, which is also amazing chivito. No, there's always great places, or the pizza, you know, like, yes, all of that. There's a lot to walk and try and eat.
I love that there are Milanesa concepts in over there, where you just get all kinds of milanesas piled with everything and cheese and sauce. That's perfect. But right now in Los Angeles, this is the place to go if you really want this true South American experience, Rio de la Plata experience. You guys also are doing some special nights, right? Can you tell me a little bit about your series?
Yes, absolutely. So these special nights we call Pampa Omakase. We do it once a month. And we do basically what we were telling you about this asado experience. Will Esteban tell you more about what we and he cooks? But the main point of this special series nights is that we want people to really feel the OG Rio de la Plata experience by eating a whole tasting menu, but without this tasting menu that people will have from the fine dining, more from I'll sit on a table with people that I don't really know, and I'm gonna have wine and food, and I'm gonna start chatting with people that I never thought I could chat, and then you're fully in. And we start serving you chorizo, we serve you mochejas, and all things that you might not know what it is, but Chef Esteban explains you all of it and where it comes from. And then at the end, we serve an asado that is being cooked for almost 5 hours.
It was 10 hours last
10
time.
hours. Listen, since he woke up, he was there with the asadito. So that makes it special. Yeah. It's a gather.
What nights of the week is that?
18th of June is the next one.
So it's not a set night. It's just once a month you have that.
Once a month, and probably we'll start twice a month because we're already sold out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We're only doing it for 15 people, not more than that. And it's outside.
We want to keep it that way. That's something really special, and that's the asado. When you go to an Argentinian house, Uruguayan house to have the asado, it is 15 people around the table, the whole family gathering together and enjoying themselves, the company, the food, the ritual. And we start doing it like a really fine dining way at the beginning when we start with this concept, really like delicate platings and just putting the food, but the rest of the experience was really fine dining. And we were like, you know what, this is something normal, this is boring. And this is pretty common. So now what we came out is like immersive asado experience, we call it. So it's Pampa Omakase. So we put this dome outside there, and we create a huge table, a huge communal table there next to the fire, which is how we do it down there. And we want the people feeling the heat, getting in touch with the smoke, walking to the grill and see the meat and see everything they're gonna have, And it's not about the food, and the food is not like fine dining, it's not fancy, it's just also, I would say it's pretty rustic. But the whole ambience and all the things that are happening right there, and they are sitting on a table watching these strawberry plates in a cross in front of the fire. And when they came, I'll tell them, I put this at 10 a.m. in the morning, and they go, oh wow, and they are 2-3 hours waiting for that piece of meat,
Right.
So they are salivating, So that's the asado ritual, And that's what we are doing with this experience. We convert it a little bit we call it immersive asado experience, where you really feel the asado itself, but this is the real ritual. So we are doing it like now more rustic, but I think it's way more meaningful.
Yeah, that's great. Well, so for listeners, come to Alto, Fire to Table, and trust your parrilleros.
Yes,
Please. Come with an open mind, open heart. Come to the Omakase and get the parrilla en casa experience, and have some of these amazing wines from Argentina, Uruguay.
Absolutely. Yeah, Juana always curated really, really interesting wine pairings for this experience, with also some wines out of the mold, something really typical from Argentina, and also for she also put some like really classy or Malbecs or Tanats for like a really meaty wine, for this. So you have the wine flight it have many aspects that are really fun to do. So yeah.
Okay, well, I haven't been yet. I can't wait.
Yes.
Chef Juana, Chef Esteban, thank you for being on Taqueando.
Thank you
Please.
so much.
Thank you
Such
for
a
having us.
pleasure.
That was a pleasure. Amazing chats.
Thank you for tuning in to the Taqueando podcast this week. And be sure to tune in next week for another episode. And please leave us a rating or review wherever you listen to your podcasts.